Hello everybody and welcome back to another Amethyst Racing pre-season race. We have once again got Silverstone and Spain coming up this time around. It's the tier 3 drivers that are going to be taking on the challenge. There's a couple of drivers in here that could be moving up to tier 2. We are just going to trial them in this race as what it's for, so make sure that everyone's in the right tier. Kingma, thank you for the Prime sub. Don't know why that didn't come up on the side. Also, Soviet Cons, Civix and Leonard, thank you all for the follows. Watch Pavic, don't worry, we'll be keeping a very close eye on that man. Through quali, you want to watch Jeff, okay. You have redeemed it, so it is the rules. But we're going to be getting underway here. I am, once again, your favourite commentator. Commentating once again on tier 3, and it is a sunny day here for qualifying. Today I'm joined by absolutely no one, so apologies for that, but hopefully that will change throughout the season. But here we go. We are about to get through. I think there's 18 drivers, I think I saw in the lobby. So we've got a lot of action in store for us today around two very high-speed tracks where it will provide a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing. Of course, the next race on the calendar in real life is Silverstone, so it could give us a bit of a taste of what we're going to get there. But I'm sure we cannot compare real-life drivers to the mess that this race will be. Let's see if I can even select Pavic, because look at the state. I can't even find him. He's second. No, second. There we go. Here he is. I've not reset my cameras. Sorry about that, chat. You have to give me a sec to do that. At some point in the race. But Jeff Pavic, Luke Martin is currently on pole, battling Shake in the Red Bull. Let's see what Jeff Pavic can do here as he comes down into Brooklands. Back on the power now as he powers his way through up into Luffield. Very tricky corner. Very easy to lose the rear end there, but he keeps it together. It is a Luke Martin, Jeff Pavic 1-2. Rory Bates in the Haas, our McLaren reserve, in third as well. It is a very interesting top three that we have here at the start. But there goes Jeff Pavic off track. And is that going to be his lap invalid? I think it might be. No, he's got away with it. Jeff Pavic has got away with it. It's not invalid. Luke Martin still the fastest in this qualifying session so far. Rory Bates, though, keeping him honest there in P2. It'll be very interesting to see where they're going to end up at the end of this qualifying session. But for right now, Jeff Pavic down in P6. Strix is right on board. Request was Jeff Pavic, and he's not doing too badly, you have to say. 6th place at the moment. Luke Martin still in first as he comes through the final few corners. Jeff Pavic falling down the order, P9, P8. But Luke Martin's going to cross the line and take pole in Silverstone by over 4 tenths to Rory Bates behind. Luke Martin, is he in tier 2? What was Luke's qualifying timing? Is it 26.2? 26.2, yeah, 4 tenths to Al Gandhi. The two commentators in tier 1 and tier 2, finishing both on the front row here at the start of qualifying, the first qualifying of the night. Rory Bates, though, on his return to racing in Amethyst, qualifies P3, only 4 tenths away, or just under 5 tenths away from pole. Magnussen, Sandersteel, rounding out the top 5 as well. Shake, Pavic, Mitchell, Kingma, and Oosting rounding out the top 10. What a very interesting qualifying we had there. These all getting disqualified. Van Leeuwen, Nilsson, Blundy, Aurelius, and Best all not setting a time. It looks like Best might have just not set a time. Maybe he's looking for some fun. We know he's got pace here in tier 3, finishing off last season with a P2 in Singapore. Only a couple tenths away from the lead of the race as well. But it is a dry race. We are going to have a dry race to start off with. And like I said before, it's Luke Martin and Al Gandhi, the two commentators, filling up the front row at the start of this Silverstone Grand Prix. But let's see who's going to charge through the pack. This could all flip on its head. We know they've got qualifying pace, but where are they going to stand in the race? As everyone will be rushing about. I know Luke Martin is very touchy about they're having the right setup on. But here we go. For the first time in tier 3, we're going to have 5 red lights. And it's going to be in Silverstone here for the pre-season race. And we are away. Luke Martin not getting a great start. Look, comparing to the Red Bull in P2. But Rory Bates looking around the outside now of Al Gandhi. Al Gandhi's lost the position there to the Haas driver of Rory Bates. Rory Bates on the soft compound tyre. Looking down the inside now of Luke Martin as we come into village for the first time. There's a yellow flag further back. I think that's for a Mercedes. That's Hage and Blundy have had contact at turn 2. But here we go, rounding through the loop now. And Rory Bates is absolutely flying on those softs. And into the lead he goes. Down into Brooklands. Rory Bates takes the lead of this race. Further back, Mitchell and Magnussen battling out now. 4P6, the Alfa Romeo. No, the Alfa Tauri going around the outside. Off the Ferrari, Mitchell trying to find a way back past. But that invites the Aston Martin of Oosting to up the inside. And there's a huge crash at the back. I think that was Oosting that spun round and collected the likes of Magnussen and Van Loon. I'm not too sure who has damage there, but it looks to me that there's definitely an Aston Martin with a bit of front wing damage there. Maybe the Red Bull there on the outside of Copse. As here comes Magnussen looking up the inside of both of them as we head into Maggots, Backets and Chapel for the first time in this 18-lap race. Let me turn my notifications off, but Magnussen not seeming to have the straight line speed, the slipstream effect from Shake that Oosting is getting is absolutely, oh my god, is absolutely massive now. But Oosting running into the back of Shake there as we came through Stowe, and that's just unsettled the back of Shake's Red Bull. As further back though, that was Van Loon forcing a move on the Aston Martin of Oosting. I think they've both spun round, both lost a few positions there, but Van Loon's got through a little bit easier. There's a few in the pits further back. Jeff Pavic, Unfi and Sandersteel all coming into the pits on his first lap. All for what I'm going to guess is damage, either at Luffield or Stowe. But we missed it. What happened to Rory Bates? Rory Bates down in P3 and Luke Martin is retaking the lead of this race. Once again, it is the two commentators in the top two position. And they're going to be battling out now for the lead, I imagine. Luke Martin on those medium tyres, though. Might be on for the better strat here, although the undercut is mighty powerful in this game. And at the back there, it looks like Kingman might have had a spin down in P14. Let's see. I'm going to try and fix these camera settings in a second. Let me see if I can... no, I can't work it out. But there's already quite a big field spread as we started the second lap. A few, like I said before, pitting on that opening lap. As Al Gandhi is closing up to the back of Luke Martin's Mercedes, but can't find his way past into Stowe. As it looks like Oosting, there he goes, getting past Nilsson, finishing P3 in the driving championship last season here in Tier 3. But currently running P10 is further up to the front. Shake and Magnussen getting in a bit of a brawl, and there goes Van Loon up the inside. Van Loon's going to say, yep, thank you very much. And on to lap 3 we go. It is Van Loon up into P7, Shake falling down 2 positions there, I believe, from P6 down to P8. As Oosting sets the fastest lap of the race. Was that? I thought Shake spun there, but he didn't. But yeah, this track really showing all the angles here. We're getting crashes at nearly every corner and a bit of overtaking as well. That's what we like to see from Tier 3, isn't it? Oh, it's further back actually. As I say it, Rory Bates and Mitchell making contact as they came through Brooklands. Rory Bates having to recompose himself and get back on track. And get that Haas pointing in a straight line once again. But it is Mitchell through for P3. And now Balint Nando going to be looking at the back of that Haas and wanting to get past here. Al Gandhi though, closing up once again. Just doesn't seem to have the overall straight line speed that he needs. So we'll only find it here with a slipstream from that Mercedes car. Finding all the grip he can out of Chapel. Luke Martin pulling to the left hand side, trying to break the slipstream as much as he can, but he can't. And there goes Al Gandhi flying past, the rear wing open on the Red Bull into the braking zone. And it is Al Gandhi through on Luke Martin. But Luke Martin trying to find and launch an attack back on him as he goes for the switch back through Stowe. Going to dive it round the outside here at the Vale chicane. Luke Martin on the medium compound tyres. Can he hold it? Down the inside now. Not quite. He gets a bit of a snap through the final corner. It is Al Gandhi ahead and he has got that move done. Mitchell now lurking in the background of these two. So a spin there for, it's like Hage again. Is it Hage or Hage? I don't know how you say it. Or Hage. I'm going to go with Hage because that's what makes the most sense to me. But we know Luke Martin is running a little bit more, or a little bit less downforce than Al Gandhi's Red Bull. So could we see an attack relaunched here from Luke Martin? He's closing up, closing up, closing up. Not close enough those who heading to Brooklands, but Al Gandhi's gone a little bit deep. Keeps the position anyway. Leader of this race is looking close. As, oh, down the inside there goes Shake on Magnussen's AlphaTauri. Magnussen running off track a little bit there. I would be surprised if that was a warning for the AlphaTauri driver. Is further up front. Who's that? There's Mitchell. Mitchell in the wall. Oh, and there's another spin. That's Magnussen. We were just riding on board of him. And they've both spawned in the same spot on the exit of Luffield. As further up front now, Berlin and Roy Bates side by side as they came through Cops. But it is Nando getting through on Rory Bates. As we come through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel now. Rory Bates right under the rear wing of the Alfa Romeo. Looks like he's got a bit of damage there maybe. The amount of understeer he's getting. His front wing looks okay. Is he going to close up at all? Coming down the hanger straight. He is. Don't think he's close enough for a move though, and I did see Al Gamdi and Martin battling it out once again for the lead of this race. Al Gamdi looking around the outside now, down the inside at the second part of the Vale chicane, through Club Corner now. Oh, and Al Gamdi can't find the space that he needs to get back onto power soon enough, and Luke Martin retakes the lead of this race. Luke Martin is looking quick this season. As Best down in P11, closing up to the back of Magnussen now, who we saw had a spin not too long ago, as Kingma and Hage, I think that was, swapping positions as they headed into Stoke. I want to change my camera settings, but I don't have time. There's too much stuff going on. As who's this? Further up ahead, Aurelius, Aurelius, yeah, Aurelius, closed up to the back. Oh, actually, there goes Rory Bates back past Berlin, Nando Berlin. I think it's Nando de Berlin, but his Discord name is Berlin Nando, which is really confusing me. Oh, nearly loses the back end out through there. You see people's tyres starting to go off now. A tyre drop off in this game is massive, and it will really catch you out on a long stint. But we've got a nice little train forming here from the back of, is this Rory Bates? Yeah, Rory Bates all the way down to Danny Oosting, down in P7, who's flying up to the back of Shake's Red Bull. Shake's teammates still in pursuit of this race win. Up at the front, they've got a nice 5-second gap now, further back to Rory Bates, who doesn't seem to be having all the pace that he had at the start of this race. Perhaps his tyres going off. But here comes Danny Oosting up the inside of Stowe Corner. I can hear there's a car stopped on the side of the track. There's two cars stopped on the side of the track. It's Nando and Van Loon. And Nando's just retired from the track. So I think he's given... Oh! I think his retiring car has hit somebody, and that's why we don't allow that in the league. If that was... oh, I think it was Shake, was it? Possibly. Oh no, he's coming in for a... Oh no, he's getting a wing change. So that's why we don't allow that in the league, because if someone's car does do that, obviously it ruins a race, and it could cost someone a championship at the end of the day. So that would have been a penalty, but obviously pre-season races, we are not handing out penalties, because that is too much effort. Anyway, who do we think is going to win this race, chat? Al Gamdi, still on the soft compound tyres. He's going to get a very nice undercut on Luke Martin if he comes in soon. The question is, though, I mean, the softs and the mediums in a 35% race can go about as long as each other. So it's going to be a question to whether Al Gamdi will pit 1, 2, maybe 3 laps earlier than Luke Martin, or if they'll both pit at around about the same time and Luke Martin can sort of nullify the effect of the undercut. You've got to think as well, the tyres when they go off do lose a lot of time in relative pace. So Luke Martin could close the gap back up towards the end of this race. We're in for an exciting one here as the two commentators are battling it out. Here comes Shake up the inside of Sandersteel, and he's been spun around, and there's a Williams there of Jeff Pavic that just narrowly avoids him. That was an interesting crash. I think Shake on the cold mediums, as we saw, he just came into the pits for a wing change. Maybe getting a little bit desperate there to get past. As further up to the front, Oosting now coming into the pit lane. So we're going to see what his strategy is. Going to probably go back onto the mediums and try and get a nice undercut on a few cars ahead of him, instead of being stuck in that battle for too much longer. But Rory Bates now is running in clean air, but he's still out on the soft compound tyres, and I'm not too sure if that's going to work out for him. I think if you're on the softs, you need to be coming in as soon as possible and just running it along onto the mediums towards the end. As who is that? Hage into the pits now. The other Mercedes we saw. Oh no, we haven't seen the other Mercedes into the pits. What am I about? Hage coming into the pits for medium tyres. He's going to come out, I imagine, where he is now. He's going to come out in 16th, with Blundy being 37 seconds off the back of the pack. It's not been a great race for him, as Nilsson, I think, actually just got past on Van Loon. This is a nice little battle. These two good friends. They were both in Alpine season 6, And then Van Leeuwen taking his adventure to Red Bull last season and McLaren this season. Let's see if he can make the move here. Down the hanger straight. The DRS will be assisting him all the way up on the run to Stowe Corner. And he's already passed before we get into the braking zone. Will either of them come into the pits? I imagine Van Leeuwen's going to come into the pits here. If he doesn't, it'll be... Oh, he's not coming to the pits. That's very surprising. I thought he would have come in by now. As who's that? As Alpine of Aurelius, I think, had a spin. And so did the Ferrari of Mitchell. As Van Leeuwen and Nilsson battling it out once again as they come down the pit straight. It is Nilsson getting back past Van Leeuwen. Maybe a mistake out of club for Van Leeuwen, which left him vulnerable as he run down the pit straight. As Sheikh has had another spin at Chapel, that is. As Pavic and Magnussen swapping positions further back as well. Let's see what's going... Oh my... Jeff Pavic in the mud coming out of Stowe. And that's going to drop him down. I think he's made... Has he made a pit stop yet? Oh yeah, he made a pit stop on lap 1 for some damage. And it's gone onto the hard compound tyres. But up at the front, Al Gamdi, even though his tyres must be absolutely shot by now, he is just about clinging on for DRS each lap, which is going to be pulling him along and keeping him within that undercut range of Luke Martin when he comes on to the medium tyres. I'm really surprised he hasn't pit yet. He is out of ERS this lap, so maybe this is his in lap. He's been pushing it as hard as he can, trying to keep as close to Luke Martin as he can. If we don't see him into the pits here, I think this could cost him a race win. But we do see him into the pits. There he goes. Don't speed. He didn't speed. He's made it into the pits. That was a beautiful pit entry as well. That unleashes Luke Martin now to focus on lap time and not having to worry about defending the car behind. As further back, I think that is Nilsson, is it? Yeah, Nilsson had a spin coming out of Chapel, which has released Van Leeuwen now up into P4 and is into the pits. So we're having a few people come in this lap. Al Gamli, Van Leeuwen and Bates all coming into the pits, all in the fight for those top 5 positions. Let's see what will happen here though, because I'm really interested now to see how much of an undercut Al Gamdi can get on those fresh mediums. He's just got to focus on getting that lap time in now, and oh, this isn't good though. That's Nilsson and Kingma both coming through turn 2 now, and he's going to be trapped between the two, so he's not going to have to worry about overtaking. He's also going to have to worry about defending here, unless he can make the move on Nilsson into Brooklands. But Nilsson spun out of Village, and Al Gamdi also got DRS, so this is really helping him. That is a perfect bit of cross-team orders there. And Al Gamdi is now unleashed to go and focus on lap time and try and get his undercut on Luke Martin as Best up into P2 now. He's we've signed a pre-season contract with the man up in the lead, the Mercedes team principal, Luke Martin. So I'm sure Luke will be wishing this is every race, him 25 seconds up in the lead with his teammate behind him. But Best he's yet to make a pit stop, and so is Luke. So this could all flip on its head. But I'm sure Best, if Al Gamdi can catch him before Luke Martin pits, might put up some kind of defence for the lead driver. Let's have a look further back, because Van Leeuwen and Sandersteel are perilously close. Coming through Chapel. Van Leeuwen obviously pitting last lap, going to have that significant tyre advantage. Opens the DRS and he's flown past down the hanger straight, up into Stowe we go. And there is Van Leeuwen now up into P7. Thank you, Zane, for the follow. Very much appreciated. We're on the road to 450. Well, we're just a few behind that, as the two Alpines now getting a bit close. Aurelius up the inside of Nilsson, looking for a switch back here. Oh, the second part of Club, and a second part of Vale. They've made contact, and Nilsson's taken yet another spin, or at least a half spin, in this race. I think that's the third one now. It's not looking too good for Nilsson here. We know he has pace though. He proved it last season. I'm sure it'll all come together, and let's hope he has a better race out in Spain. But yeah, we're on the road to 450 followers and 500 members in the Discord, so we are absolutely shooting up in population at the moment. So thank you all that are watching and that are following. As Best picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's also dropped a couple of seconds off his teammate Luke Martin, or not his team principal Luke Martin, and Luke's into the pits now. So this is really going to show whether the undercut works or not, because Al Gamdi making his way out of Chapel now, and usually you need to be going through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel when they come into the pits to be coming out close to them. So, let's see. Al Gamdi making his way through the final chicane and round the final corner in just a few seconds' time. Luke Martin is on his way out of the pit lane. This is going to be very close. I don't think Al Gamdi's made an undercut work too well around here, even though I feel like they should work the most around here. No fluke yet, can I say. And Luke's actually come out ahead of Al Gamdi. I was not expecting that. Maybe Al Gamdi not having the best few laps there on the new medium tyre, and it's cost him because he should have come out ahead of Luke Martin there. And Luke Martin only a second now behind his pre-season contracted Tier 3 teammate of Kelsey Best. So what will happen here? I'm sure Best is just going to let him through, but is he going to defend at all to Al Gamdi? And if he does, fair play, Luke Martin. That is, I mean, fair play to Best as well for getting himself in this position. Let's see what will happen. But further back, Hugo Magnussen is under the rear wing of Sandersteel, trying to find a way past, I imagine, as we head up the old pit straight and through Copse. Let's see, Luke Martin actually is closing up to his possible future teammate and gets past Best, not letting him through there as much as I thought he would, but let him through no matter what as he bangs wheels with Al Gamdi all the way down into the final chicane. This is not a good camera angle game. What are you doing? But Al Gamdi gets through there, down the inside, and Best nearly loses the back end of the car. He does lose the back end of the car, but just narrowly avoids spinning round. And Al Gamdi back up into P2, but he has lost a second and a bit to Luke Martin up in the lead. As Hage and Pavic having a little bit of a battle as he come down the hanger straight. Jeff Pavic looking for a wider line as he come through Stowe, but Hage's dirty air. Oh, goes off track though there, does Hage. That could have cost him a bit of time, but Jeff Pavic, I think, on those lap one, switching his tyres on end of lap one, is going to really cost him here. Everyone around is just going to have better pace. Oh my god. Yeah, you can see the difference there in tyres. How do you join the league? I believe if you do, oh god, what do I do? Wait. If you do exclamation mark commands in chat for me, I can tell you which one it is. I've forgotten which command it is. Well, I mean, if you wanna do it, there you go. If you do exclamation mark Discord, it will take you to give you our Discord link, and you can join that. And I'm sure there'll be someone in there that will point you in the right direction. But it's all sort of balancing itself out at the moment. Kingma actually getting a great run through Copse there. He closed up significantly on Jeff Pavic as he. Oh my god, yeah, that was silly from Kingma. I can't lie. I don't know where he's going with that, but he's played it patient through Maggots and Beckett's and Chapel. He has the DRS assistance, but so does Jeff. And Jeff actually looks like I have the better straight line speed. And up the inside though goes Kingma. Kingma this season, for the first season, racing on wheel. So that's something to take into account, but he has got through on Jeff Pavic as Best comes into the pits now. Let's see where he'll come out. Will he come out ahead of Hage and that lot? I think he will. Yes, he has. Hage not going to get past Best. Kingma not going to get past Best. And neither is Jeff Pavic. So Best coming out the pits on the soft combine tyres in the top 10. That is a good exit position for him. But he has got that 3-second penalty to deal with. He's got Mitchell up the road, who's looked quick at times, but had a few moments here and there. But it is all sort of balancing itself out now. I think there's a nice little battle between Hage and Kingma coming up maybe, but Kingma has just got past both of them. Let's see, and Rory Bates actually closing up to the back of Danny Eusting. Has he made a pit stop yet? Did Eusting make a pit stop? I actually don't remember. He has made a pit stop. Let me see tyres. Okay, you made a pit stop 2 laps earlier than Rory Bates, so he maybe got an undercut. I don't remember those two battling all too much. I remember Euston getting spun round at Luffield, so he's made a great recovery drive to be in P3 at the moment. But Rory Bates does seem to have a little bit of a pace advantage in these late stages of the race. 4 laps to go, or 5 laps to go. And yeah, I mean, Rory Bates seems to be closing that gap a little bit. He got within a second coming down the pit straight. He's lost a bit of time through sector 1. I'm not too sure. I can't really work out what setup he's running just yet. As a sector 1 yellow flag, that is for Williams. I think that is Jeff Pavich. We saw him a few laps ago having a bit of a moment at the final corner. It looks like this time he couldn't reclaim the car's grip and has had a little bit of a spin. Actually, Kingma is making great progress onto the back of Kelsey Best, who I pointed out a few laps ago came out in just about the top 10, but Kingma's closed right up to him. Kingma was a couple of seconds back. He was in that battle with Hage and Jeff before Jeff had his spin, and he's already under the rear wing nearly of Best Haas. And Best not within DRS range of Mitchell just yet. He has closed up about half a second this lap though. So it is getting pretty close here. As we head... Well, Luke Martin has started the 15th lap of this race. So 4 left to go, if you count this one. And here comes Kingma. He thought about a move. Didn't quite find the space. It's a very risky corner to go for a move on. Nonetheless, but he's going to look for a move here as we go into the Vale chicane. Trying to be later on the brakes. Kelsey Best hangs it round the outside. A very nice defence there from Best, being absolutely daredevil late on the brakes. And keeps P10 as we head on to lap 15. Hage picks up a 5-second penalty for speed in the pit lane. I imagine that could be to retire. Unless he's making another pit stop this race. Maybe just take fastest lap or something along those lines. Maybe just to show that he's got a bit of pace. And he's had not a great race so far. But remember, we've got another race tonight in Spain of all tracks where it will really show the driver's pace around there. With all those different types of corners. As Rory Bates is still closing up to the back of Danny Houston for P3 in this race. But it is spicing up further back here with Mitchell looking a bit under pressure here, looking a bit slower than Best, and Kingma behind him as Best tries to find his way around the outside. Down the old pit straight we go, into Copse corner. They're going to be side by side here into Copse. Best around the outside. Mitchell tries to defend it on the inside. They both hit the wall. That is a huge crash. I don't know how neither of them DNF'd out of this race. That is Kingma go through up into P9, and these two both going to be carrying damage now, and I imagine pitting in this race, possibly even to retire at this late stage. But that was a mighty crash. I was not expecting that, I can't lie. As Bates still closing up to back here of Danny Easting for P3 in this race. He is within the penalty range, so he doesn't actually have to make the move, but I'm sure with the season just around the corner, you want to show the likes of me, his team principal, what pace he's got and how he can overtake still after taking a season out. Or is it 1 or 2 seasons? 1 season. No, 2. I don't remember. He's taken a few seasons out of this race. Out of this league. So you want to show that he's still got the pace, he can still attack, and he can still push everyone to their limits. As he goes round the outside at Copse, this time no contacts made. They're still side by side, and Rory Bates has got through. That was a lovely move from Rory Bates. As we head into Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, Rory Bates is in the is not in the lead. He's onto the podium position, and you have to say that was a great overtake using the extra grip on those tyres to fly around the outside and retake 3rd position. But Oosting looking to make a move with a DRS. Doesn't quite have the grip though to make it side by side into Stowe. What do you mean? What's happening? Oh, you mean because Luke's dominating a race? I don't know. Luke's actually looked quick here. There's 2 tracks on this game where I thought that Luke was pretty good at, and it was Silverstone and Bahrain. But other than that, he's not looked too quick. Spain, I think he'll suffer. I think he'll suffer in Spain. But Oosting still wants to show that he's got the pace on these older medium tyres. 2 laps older than Rory Bates. Nearly make contact with the back of the Haas, and as we go down the something straight. What the hell is that straight called? Wellington Straight, and into Brooklands and Luffield. It is Oosting back through. Moving to tier 2 to make him suffer. No, because that means I've got to commentate on Sundays, and I can't be doing that. Jeff Pavic. So Martin's leading the race and Jeff set the fastest lap. What a weird season this could be. As Bates still keeping close to the back of Oosting. Like I say, he doesn't need to take the position. He's within that penalty range. He just needs to not pick one up himself. What simulation is this exactly? Just like Oosting, after all this, is pulling away a little bit from Rory Bates. Reclosed about a 1.5 second gap and overtook him, and now Rory Bates is falling off a little bit, maybe using all his battery, as Oosting is keeping his a little bit more conservative. To be fair, the only race I expect Luke Martin to win was the ones that don't count, so... Luke Martin actually lapped someone. Who's this behind him? I think he's lapped Shake. He said that Shake was going to be moved to tier 2. I was on a VC with him before this race. He said, I can't wait for Shake to lap everyone and then get moved to tier 2. And he's just lapped Shake. Crazy. But here we go. Luke Martin on his first race, or his first competitive race, on F1 23, will cross the line first to take victory at his home Grand Prix here in the pre-season race at Amethyst Racing. Now Gamdy, the 2 commentators, started on the front row together, finish it 1 and 2, and Oosting, who's defended off Rory Bates, but I think Rory Bates should round out the podium, and he does. There he goes, up to P3. Van Loon finishes P5 after getting disqualified in qualifying. Magnussen now crosses the line, P6 for him. Sandersteele, who was going to be in tier 2, still could be in tier 2. He's still got a race to go, but finishes P7 here in the tier 3 preseason. Aurelius finishes P8. Kingma crosses the line now to take P8 away from Aurelius. Must have had a lot of penalties there for the Alpine driver. Unfi looking to round out the points paying positions. I'm not too sure. If that is a 3-second time penalty, he is on the verge of losing his point to Mitchell, his teammate in this race. Here he goes, 2.8 seconds is the gap. Currently, can Mitchell close it enough through the final few corners? No, he loses it by 0.06 of a second. Nilsson, who's had... You could probably count the amount of spins he's had on no hands, because it's been too many. He's actually run out of fuel as well. And crosses line P12. Jeff Pavic will finish P13, unless... No, actually, Hage has got 3 seconds of penalties. Never mind. Hage finishes P14. Blundy, what happened to... Oh yeah, Best got taken out of Stowe, didn't he? What a race. Fair enough, tier 3. That was pretty good. A lot going on that race. I didn't really get a chance to have a break, which, to be fair, I can complain all I like, but it means we had a good race. Anyway, we are going to get ready now for the second race tonight at Spain. Another 35% distance race with a one-shot qualifying, and we'll see if that mixes up the grid at all. There's Luke Martin on the podium. You don't like to see that now, do you? Let's get that out of the screen. So yeah, we'll be back very shortly for the second race tonight. And yeah, thank you for watching so far. Welcome back. We are getting ready now for the final qualifying of the night, the one-shot quali here at Spain. Who will finish on top this time? Will it be Luke Martin going to tier 2? Or will we have someone else come out of nowhere and take pole and the victory here today? It's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a bit of a change. There's similar tracks, but there's a lot more elevation change here in Spain, and a lot longer corners as well. And I imagine a few people running different setups, maybe drastically different to, like, need more downforce around here. But who will run it on the edge and look for that straight line speed? Let's see. Who will be at the top? Will we have similar names? Will we have completely different names? It'll be very interesting, and it's only a few seconds away, as everyone will be getting the setups on now and getting ready for their one and only hot lap here in qualifying to set the grid for a 35% race around the circuit. Oh, circuit Barcelona de Catalunya, just hitting the lampshade. Yeah. Ow, that actually hurt my head a little bit. Anyway, here we go. As for some reason we're in the garage temporarily. Oh my god, what is going on? Sander Steele actually up in the top 2 at the moment as Shake retakes the first place, and Hage looking a bit racier here as well. Unfeet now taking the fastest, taking it fastest through turn 3. Where is Luke Martin? Luke Martin still up in the top 3. Last time out's race winner. Kingma though in the mix as well in the McLaren. His first time, or his second time actually racing in the league with a wheel, as he raced with it in Silverstone just then. Mitchell once again looking pretty quick. We know he had a few little errors in Silverstone as Aurelius gets disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. Very interesting, as the two McLarens now operating second and third, as Al Gamdi's still up there in the mix, P4 as well. Obviously a front row qualifying last time out in Silverstone. But what can they do? For the final sector, Luke Martin is looking pretty quick, you have to say. Still on provisional pole, but Al Gamdi's taking it in the penultimate corner. Luke Martin has to push his heart out for the final corner now and carry as much speed as he can, but he's not carried enough. And Van Loon is on pole here in Silverstone. Al Gamdi, Mitchell also finish ahead of Luke Martin. Luke Martin lost it all in that final sector, but look how close it was from second to fourth. A couple hundreds, a thousandths separating those three drivers. A crazy close qualifying, but Van Loon found all the time in those final two corners to take pole by 0.04 of a second. And that is 9 thousandths separating Al Gamdi, Mitchell and Martin. That is a very close qualifying for a one shot. And all the way down to P12, actually P13, separated by less than a second. What a crazy qualifying that was. And 3 disqualified. Aurelius, Magnussen and Oosting. We're all going to be starting at the back. And wow, that was just crazy close. Luke Martin went from first to fourth in 2 corners. Luke Martin, will someone be crying? Wait, huh? Because Luke Martin won, maybe. Day 3 of asking Luke for a only upstream charity stream. That would be pretty funny, actually. But I need him alive to do that, to do all the commentary. So I'm not going to back that. Yeah, with Luke doing well. True, true. He would jump in a car and kill him probably. Take a drink before the start because I am going to need it. If someone's trying to do exclamation mark sign up, I think you're better off if you go exclamation mark website. It will bring you to the website. Oh, 5 red lights here in Spain, and they are out and we are away. A little bit of a sound glitch there, but Al Gamdi looking to pull alongside the McLaren, but Van Loon's got an amazing start as AlphaTauri on the grass further back. As is that Mercedes? It's an Aston Martin going around the outside of a Ferrari as well, further back. But there goes Mitchell around the outside, defending off Luke Martin, and he's made it work. But there's a Williams of Jeff Pavic that's been spun out. No, Jeff Pavic is in the race. It was Blundy that's been spun round at turn 2, and there's a safety car, virtual safety car, has been deployed. And there's also a... Huh? Oh, well really this is out. Did he just get taken out and then retire? I don't know what happened there. But all of this is out of this session after getting disqualified and qualifying. He retired at the start. Interesting. But Van Loon is still in this race from Al Gamdi, from Mitchell and Martin. The two Red Bulls up in the top 5. As Al Gamdi gets a drive through. Al Gamdi has absolutely thrown this race in the bin. And Martin gets through on both Mitchell and Al Gamdi. Is that a drive-through for Van Loon as well? Drive-through for Van Loon and for Al Gamdi. Make sure neither of them... And Van Loon's hit the bump in the pit lane. Oh no. It has gone from bad to worse for Van Loon. Picks up a drive-through, tries to pit for it and hits that stupid bump in the pits. And it spat him straight back out into the pit straight with all the others. And he's got to go around again. He's let his teammate through there though. Oh, Kingman making a little bit of contact with Sheikh as he came through turn 2. Kingman up into P3 now. Al Gamdi with that drive through as well. So it's net P2 for Kingman as there's a virtual safety car again. And that is for Balint, who is retired. Van Loon is bottling as much as Arsenal. I'll pretend to know what that means. We should get going again soon though, as Rory Bates has made his way up into the top 5 as well. I know he said to me before this race, before we did this stream, that he was only going to do one race, but surely after getting that podium in Silverstone, he stuck her out for another one, and he's looking all over the rear of Van Loon, who's I imagine going to come into the pits this lap, as well as Al Gamdi. Yep, there he goes. Don't hit the bump this time. He's not hit it. He's into the pits. Luke Martin, that's the fastest lap of this race, as to be expected. As the first racing lap will commence now, hopefully. As Sheikh eyeing up and moving on Rory Bates here into turn 1 down the inside in that Red Bull. Sheikh makes the move stick. A nice little move there into turn 1. Now I'm sure it's going to be the prime overtaking spot for a few drivers on this track with that DRS assistance all the way down that massive pit straight. And there's an Aston Martin of Saturn Steel looking a bit racy there behind the Haas of Rory Bates as well. A lot of people seem to be starting on the soft tyres. Praying Fluke does a Leclerc 22. You mean his car blows up? As Oosting eyeing up now the back of Blundy's Williams. Ooh, that got very close there at the exit of turn 5. And down the hill as they swing out left. Back up the hill now, as there's a car off there. I think that was Nilsson. Nilsson not having a great couple of races here, and not a great couple of qualifyings as well. As it's not gone his way so far. As Vasilev is up into P8 as well. He didn't have a great qualifying, but down the inside goes Unfi on Nilsson. Not Unfi. Mitchell on Nilsson. After Mitchell, what did happen to Mitchell? He must have got spun around at some point. As oh. Oh no. I'm getting serious. Was it season 2 or season 3 vibes? When Al Gamdi nearly got disqualified for not using 2 sets of tyres because he didn't know he had to. It's further back. Was that Sheikh and Rory Bates? Having contact at turn 2. There's 2 cars practically stopped on the apex of turn 2. As Oosting now looks up the inside of Rory Bates and into turn 4. Gets the move done up the inside. Oosting looking to be on a bit of a charge now. But I remember, season 3 Al Gamdi in Bahrain. Yeah, he didn't use 2 compound tyres, and Will Lightning was the Alfa Romeo TP at the time, and literally had to stop commentating. Took the entire stream into a voice call with Al Gamdi to tell him that he had to use 2 different sets of tyres, and yeah, it I don't know. It just gave me vibes. Gave me vibes that no one told him that he had to serve it within 3 laps or something. But either way, Rory Bates falling down to P8 after being up into the top 5, and Vasilev actually up into the top 5 now, and Jeff Pavic up in P4 as well, having a much better race, and so is Kingma though, it has to be said. Kingma not having the season of his life after winning the championship in season 6. Season 7 was a little bit downhill for him, but he's looking to regain a little bit of pace in F123, and he is showing that already as Oosting gets past another driver of Shake and up into P6. Oosting is looking pretty quick round here on the medium compound tyres, and next up is Vasilev on the softs. As actually Best hasn't had the best, no pun intended, hasn't had the best race so far, down in P13. Behind Van Loon actually, who's already served his drive-through. So Van Loon, we're looking to bounce back in this race, but it's going to be an absolute challenge now for him to get into the top 5 at least, unless there's a big safety car. In the last, I think in the Tier 1 and Tier 2 races, we've had safety cars around Spain. We had none around Silverstone. We've already had 2 VSCs this race. I'm sure a safety car isn't off the cards, or even a red flag. There's a 3-second time penalty there for Magnussen down in P14. As let's see Shake, he's pretty close to the back of Oosting, who does he just about get DRS? He does just about get DRS on Vasilev, and he sets the fastest lap. Oosting is absolutely flying around here at the moment. He's closing up down into turn 1, but doesn't quite find the spaces. Van Loon now sets the fastest lap, so Van Loon showing that he does have the pace on here. He just maybe overstepped a little bit onto that VSC, and maybe that's what led Al Gamdi into speeding as well, because we know those two were 1 and 2 at the time, as Oosting is all over the rear of Vasilev's AlphaTauri, even though Vasilev, I'm sure today, signed a Tier 3 contract with Alpine, but not finding a way past there is Danny Oosting. He's going to look up the hill and into this very tricky turn of, I believe, turns, I want to say 7. But here he goes now into the fairly new profiled long left-hander round the outside. He's made that stick beautifully. What a move. I mean, I know the softs don't hang on too long around here anyway, but they made that move beautifully around the outside. And up into P5 now. It's Aston Martin 4th and 5th as Jeff Pavic has overtaken Sanderstill for P3. Wow. The reason F1 World Cars equal cars are bugged. Oh, is that a statement from PSGL? Alright. That was proper confused then. Fair enough. I think that's what we're going to end up doing, is using player cars, because we don't want to delay the season. It's already been what, like 3 or 4 weeks without any racing. Vasilev and Oosting once again side by side as they come through sector 2. As Magnussen's retired, is that going to bring out a safety car? He's in the pit. Is he in the pits, or is he on the track? I think he's on the track. As Shake and Vasilev swapping positions. As Shake looks around the outside, but can't make it stick. I think he got a bit run out of room there. There's 2 yellow flags on track. This could be a safety car. I think Mitchell might have actually put it into the wall top of the hill. I'm not too sure what happened there. No safety car as of yet. No clue what you do about the pit, but just cope. Realistically, I mean, there's not much you can do. I want to get off this world. Martin and Pavic on the podium. I know, yeah. This is like when there's a new reg change, and all of a sudden, like, the drivers at the back have just been moved to the front. Yeah, it's a weird dynamic that we're having at the moment. As actually, Luke Martin is only a couple seconds away from lapping his teammate in this pre-season. You can see them both in the same shot. You'd think, if you saw this, you'd think, oh, Mercedes dominating. But no, Hage is a lap down nearly on Luke Martin. And also, Kingma has lost 4.5 seconds to Luke Martin in these, 6 laps? Since they actually got underway again. I'm a little bit worried now, because Luke Martin can't go to tier 2, because what am I gonna do? I can't commentate on Sundays. It's Jeff Pavic actually closing up to the back of Kingma here. It's going to be a Jeff Pavic Luke Martin 1-2 in this race. What is going on? What grip hacks are they sharing? This can't be right. This cannot be right. What are they cooking? Check the PCs. As in comes Vaslev now for his one and only Stockman's race, I'd imagine. Oh. Right. As Vaslev gets underway again. And onto the track he goes. He should come out ahead of Blundy, very much so. And into P10, still in the points this race. Can I commentate? Yeah, sure. 1 second. There you go. I'm calling you now, so you should be able to. Hopefully, I called you. We'll find out. Might have called some random person. On to hards, yeah. I think the hards are a good choice around here. They keep a lot of pace. Who's that that's gone off? It's got to be Nilsson. Nilsson spun again. I'm not too sure. I think Nilsson, from what I know, I think he went from full traction control last game to medium quality this game. No, I don't think so, Monk. I really don't think so. Especially not in the AlphaTauri. If you know what I mean. As once again we've got 2 yellow flags out on track for a Haas of Best. I think that no, it's not Best. It's Rory Bates. Rory Bates and there was a Ferrari or a McLaren of I think that was Van Loon. Both spinning at the same time. I called you, didn't I? I'm in a call. If you go onto your DMs, I'm in there.
Hello.
Hello. Not a great second race. He had an amazing first race.
The thing is, Silverstone is not even a track that I think I'm pretty good at either. And my setup definitely ruined it for me. But quite unfortunate. I thought I had one more lap, but I guess I didn't.
Yeah, and was it Van Loon that kind of tricked you into getting a drive-through because you both picked up a drive-through at the same time? So I kind of gathered
saw him go. I was like, oh, what?
Yeah.
I still saw like the yellow flags. I'm like, okay, I'll go with him.
Yeah, and
I just see penalty. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I just panicked a bit.
You both getting caught out by that, and Van Loon's actually back into the pits now for soft compound tyres. He's gonna have to stop again. But yeah, not a great second race, but you had the pace in the first. What are you thinking about Luke Martin's pace? He's looking a little bit fast for tier 3.
Honestly, like he surprised me, and like
he surprised everyone. Everyone.
In Silverstone, he surprised me. I'm not even gonna lie. But in Barcelona, I don't want to be like too confident, but I felt like I would have won that race. I've gone P2 in every qualifying so far. So, and until P4, it was less than half a second, or less than a tenth, less than half a tenth.
We've got the 2 drivers into the pits here, Sandsteel and Kingma. Kingma actually coming in for a wing change, so I don't know how long he's had that damage for. But he's going to come back out in P7, I imagine, if he could get got here by Sandsteel. Not Sandsteel, Unfi even. They're going to come out pretty much side by side, down to turn 1 now. Who's going to be last on the brakes? I think with his warmer tyres, Unfi can hang it around the outside, and he does. And takes P7 away from Kingma. That's a spun. Red Bull of Shake He was spun at the exit of turn 4. A very easy thing to do. I did that at the end of the turn 1 race, and he's lost his entire front wing as well. So
Completely.
that is a costly error from Shake. Not as costly as mine because that took me out of the race completely. But Sandersteele is going to be wanting to get past it after making his pit stop. He doesn't want any trouble getting past him, and he has to hesitate on the throttle there. He thought that Shake was going to move over to the right, but he does get past with the DRS as well. But Martin and Jeff Pavic leading this race. What is going on? As Kingman gets past Unfi there, we just about caught the end of that move down the inside. Didn't look like there's a lot of room left as a virtual safety car has been deployed. Now, who does this aid more than anyone? Absolutely.
How many virtual safety cars has it been? It's been at
3.
least 3 or 4.
Yeah, this is
within
the
the
third.
first lap, not even past sector 2, a virtual safety car.
Yep, this is definitely the third one.
It's unfortunate because it's a bit of a tease. I was just getting into it, you know. I had my music just blasting in my ears. I was ready to send it. But mainly in like turn 1, you always try to be like defensive, and it helps not creating any chaos.
Yeah.
Because no one can dive on the inside if you're also on the inside with somebody on the outside. That's what I was mainly going for, more than an overtake. But unfortunate that I got
Ooh.
disqualified.
So Jeff managed to make a pit stop under the virtual safety car, whereas Luke Martin didn't.
That is going to be very interesting.
So-
It's very, very cloudy as well.
There's only 30, but Jeff's on softs.
Yeah, but 10 laps on.
He's gonna be
Oh.
very slow at the end.
Luke has pitted.
Oh, Luke's reacted straight away. He knows he's got to make the pit stop now, or he's just going to keep losing time, hand over fist for the next, 2 or 3 laps. So as long as he stays out, so he's reacting early, which is a smart thing to do, because otherwise Jeff was just going to keep reeling him in on those fresh tyres. So now they're going to be pretty much level, level tyre wear, towards the end.
They might come out like pretty close to each other as well. Hold on.
Yeah, they will actually.
Ooh.
Or a lot closer than what they
Cold
were before the
tyres,
safety
but-
car. Yeah, but cold tyres not making the same effect as they had last game. So Jeff won't be happy about that right now. But I'm sure if he was in Luke's position, he'd be very happy about that. But like you said, yeah, it's getting a bit cloudy. Was there any rain forecast for the race when you got in?
It was just clouds from what I saw. I think it was cloudy for both Silverstone and.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Jeff
Close
making a
ones.
big mistake there though, locking the rears down to turn 5, and that has cost him a couple tenths in his pursuit after Luke
very
Martin.
valuable.
I can't believe Luke Martin's possibly going to win 2 races in a row.
I was
Luke-
Nah, I'm actually quite-
Luke is the one that's been like, oh, this guy might have to get moved up. This guy might have to get moved up. This guy might have to be moved down, and now he's going to have to move himself up. I'm sorry, but you can't dominate both races and then be like, nah, I'm tier 3.
Although I'm still quite rusty. Like I'm very rusty
Yeah.
in comparison to what I was. But I can definitely say that my awareness and like I guess racecraft is still there, but my pace is what's ruining it.
Yeah, well, I was a bit surprised in Silverstone when you pit earlier for mediums, and you still came out behind Luke because the undercut around Silverstone usually is massive.
Yeah.
But then again, I
I
think
have a
that
different
was
wheel.
that was
And
part
the wheels,
of
the buttons aren't actually the buttons. It's just numbers, so I get confused. I was pressing the wrong pit limiter exit thing, and it ruined it for me. a little bit. I think I lost like 3 seconds. I would have been ahead, I think. But one thing I can say is, 1, I'm never going to use that time trial setup in a race. 2, I hate soft compounds in that like circuit. I'm not going to lie. Like, completely just understeering and oversteering at the same time.
yeah.
That was a 2012 Ferrari.
Yeah, Monk, I know they can make it easy to the end, but the point is that the tyres, they can last longer, but they don't keep the pace for as long, which can really cost you in this.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Jeff having a big lag spike there. That lost him 5 tenths to Luke Martin. Oh, his game. Oh,
Ooh.
Oh no. His Croatian internet is kicking in. Oh no.
5G question mark?
Jeff Pavic, he's just lost like over a second and a bit to Luke Martin through one corner because of his lag. Well, that's one way to kill the race. Is Easting and Nilsson are battling it out around the long left-hander. Nilsson, I think he's really struggling getting used to medium traction control. Even though it should be a lot easier this game, it should almost be like full traction control last game.
Yeah.
But he still seems to be having those odd moments. There is a few, dissimilar parts to the old traction, so couldn't understand it.
I mean,
but it's not what you'll be hoping to see.
I mean, with the old game, I struggled quite a bit, but I didn't have steering wheel. I was on controller, so it was more like just pure like. So there's like an audio glitch. It sounds like Luke is just completely rev banging his car.
Yeah. That sound bug. They got rid of it last game, and then it's come back this game. So
It
yeah.
just can't seem to be consistent.
No, they can't. They can't. There's a sector 2 yellow flag. Is that Nilsson? Yeah, it's Nilsson again.
Oh. Yeah, he just completely spun.
Yeah, Nilsson is not having the best of days. He had a pretty difficult race in Silverstone, and it's just carrying over here in Spain. And the top 4, I mean, I think Jeff and Luke fairly evenly matched in pace this race. I think Jeff was a little bit further off Luke last race, but here he's pulled it back a little bit before those lag spikes kicked in. And Sandersteel's slowly lurking up to the back of Jeff, but not gaining ridiculously on him. And Kingma, obviously, I think has some great pace here, because like he made a pit stop on the same lap as Sandersteel, but had to get his front wing changed. So he's gained back up. He's only 2 seconds behind him now.
5 seconds more. Time, and he still gained it back.
Yeah. So he seems to have good pace at the moment. But will it be enough to close up towards the end of this race? Time will tell. Blundy running in the points in P9 at the moment on the hard compound tyres, and closing up to the back of Shake, who's had a pretty shaky race. After having that little spin.
Yeah. Spin, front wing gone, and pretty shaky race in Silverstone as well.
Yeah. Getting lapped. I think he's the only car to be
wide.
lapped in Silverstone. So the pace he won a race last season. He won Silverstone last season in Tier 3, and he got lapped there in the pre-season. So maybe struggling a little bit more with this game, although I've seen him set like top 40 in the world times. So I'm a bit confused.
I don't know. That seems pretty interesting to me, don't you think?
It does. But
what can we say?
His race pace doesn't seem to be as good as what they are. So we'll see. But Blundy losing a bit of time. I think Shake might have got past him a few laps ago. And King actually picked up a 3-second while we were talking about that, which is going to cost him. If he did close up to Sandersteeel before the end of this race, he's now got to gain another 3 seconds on him to keep the position. I'm sure he'll be happy with a P4. It's first proper racing on his new wheel. He's moved over from controller to a wheel since last season, and he's currently running to P4, comfortable P4 as well. I don't know.
I'm just so butthurt about the DNF. I thought I was gonna get like a penalty or something. Like maybe 10 seconds. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, so did you not know you had to pit within 3 laps of a drive-through?
I was in between thinking, okay, I'm gonna pit when there's like 1 lap, because I need to overtake Luke. I cannot let him lead this race.
Oh, but here comes Rory Bates, with the DRS. He's absolutely flying up to the back. A lot of weaving going on from Vasilev there, down the straight as well. But he has made the move stick down the inside at turn 1, down the inside at turn 2, and down the inside at turn 3. Rory Bates has made his move up into P6. And there's a spin. And is that Blundy? Blundy, no! He's having a good race, running P9 on the hard compound tyres, but he's spun and lost his front wing on the inside barrier of turn 2. And a very easy thing to do was once the tyres start to go off, especially around tracks like Spain, where there's all prolonged traction zones, and yeah, just it's a tricky new tyre model in this game, with the tyres just losing all the rear end grip, especially if you're running no ABS. You start to lose a lot of rear end grip into corners and stuff, which can just take away from that confidence in the car, and really cost you a few. Oh my God, Jeff is lagging. Oh my God, he's lost like 2 seconds down the straight to Luke.
Oh
and now
my.
now Sandersteel's behind him. Oh,
He went inside of the car. I never knew F1 cars had passenger seats.
Jeff is cooking.
He's cooking. Bro.
Let him cook.
Some very interesting dish though.
He's using his time warping in the wrong direction. He needs to go forward, not backwards.
He went sideways a few seconds ago.
I can't believe Luke Martin has won both rounds.
I gotta beat him. I have to beat him this season.
Well,
I have to beat him.
Agandi, it looks like you'll be commentating Tier 2 on your own.
What? Oh.
Well, no, we'd
Unless
find,
I move-
we'd
I
find
think I
someone.
have
Oh,
tier 2 pace.
as Jeff's gone wide, and he's gone off track and nearly collected. Oh my god!
As he spins. As he spins, he just completely stops. He doesn't even move. He just gives up.
On his screen, he's probably still racing. Is he trying to cause a safety car?
It's just that glitchy.
I think he's trying to cause a safety car or something. He doesn't want Luke to win. Nah, Jeff. He got disqualified. Oh, man.
That is just some. He just.
Oh, no, watch out.
Oh.
No, because there was someone that retired at Stowe in Silverstone, and his car just drove out onto the track and hit someone. So,
DNF'd him.
yeah, which is why we don't allow that kind
Interesting
of stuff in the league. Like, you're not allowed to just retire on track. You have to go into the pits and stuff.
And then retire,
Because stuff like that just happens, and obviously that would have been questioned if he hit someone there. But Vaslev and Rory Bates are still absolutely right under each other's wings, and they've been pushing each other for just over a lap.
Slide.
Yeah, Vaslev
Bit of
hitting
contact
the
as
back
well.
of
That
him
was-
and causing him to have a little bit of a slide there. But Rory regains it and holds down P5, but Shake's closing up on these two as well, who I imagine, after that front wing damage, is on fresher tyres than the two ahead. And Vaslev just narrowly losing out on the championship last season. God, he had to finish like P3 and he finished like P5 or something. And lost the championship in the last round. Will be looking for vengeance this season. He's not had the best two races, but he's having a much better race here than he did in Silverstone, as he will now get the DRS assistance down the pit straight, and I'm sure with the overspeed will get past Rory Bates once again before we even get to the braking zone, I'd imagine. And here he goes. Yep, ahead of Rory Bates. Into turn one we go.
Ooh.
Rory Bates down a position, back into P6, and now in the clinches of shaking the Red Bull. He will be very hungry to find his way back up into the top 5 after that little bit of an error out of this corner right here. But let's see, what can he regain in this race? Where is Luke Martin? Luke Martin is coming through sector 3 now, and nearly starting the final lap of this race. I genuinely can't believe this. I can't. I don't want to believe this. I can't have Luke Martin
I can
in tier 2.
speak and say that it would have been a different result if I didn't get disqualified. But I can't say anything. It's just unfortunate. But I know for a fact that
What
for the
happened there?
majority of the tracks, I have more pace. I can say that. But that's not discrediting Luke in any way. He surprised me very.
Luke Martin with a
but,
9-second gap while doing the bad pit strat. Crazy. Tier 2 driver confirmed.
Can't believe he's about to win.
Potts, say hello to your new teammate. As side by side for Rory Bates and Vaslev once again, Shake must be getting pretty frustrated now behind these two. He's got the pace, he's got the better tyres, but he just can't find the space to get past. And I'm sure, like I say, getting frustrated as we head on to the final lap now. As actually Kingma is really close up to the back of Sandersteele with that 3-second time penalty though. It's going to be hard for. Oh no, Kingma just had a spin as I was saying that, or half spin or something. He just lost a second. But
Maybe he
or 2
fell
seconds.
into trap with some sort of glitch. Some would say maybe.
I think he got maybe caught on the yellow sausage curb that Bates and Vaslev just passed. But Luke Martin crosses the line once again for the second time tonight and wins another pre-season race by nearly 9 seconds to Sandersteele in the Aston Martin. Kingma crosses the line now, finishes P3, And next up is going to be Unfeet, 11 seconds behind. So the top 3 really leaving the rest for dust. But Luke Martin, I think that is a pretty big winning margin for a Tier 3 pre-season race. As Vasilev and Bates. Vasilev gets the best of him. Vasilev rounds out the top 5. And 6th for Rory Bates. Shake must have had an error on the last lap because he's fallen 7, nearly 8 seconds behind. As Oosting gets P8, Van Loon P9, and Blundy, we might still get a point in this race. He should get a point. As Best, what's happened to Best? Best had a spin on the final lap. that is not
crashed.
That is not the best result. Hey, and Blundy hasn't had a blunder, and comes through for the final points paying position here in Spain. There you go. Across the line.
But honestly, like, all jokes aside, no, pretty impressive stuff from Luke.
Yeah, it is. Annoyingly.
Pretty consistent. Annoyingly, definitely.
Annoyingly.
Uh,
Well, there we go. Oosting getting driver of the day from the game. I'd back that. He had a great pace at the early to mid stage of the race. He was charging through the pack on those medium tyres. But that rounds it up, everybody. That is the pre-season races all done. We'll be back on Friday night for the first proper race of season 8 for Tier 1 in Qatar. I'm sure it will be a spectacle of a race. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting race. The first time, I will see. I'm sure there's leagues that have done it already, but the first time I'll see a league race around there and be a part of a league race around there. So make sure you tune in. I'm sure full qualifying around there is going to be very interesting as well. But yeah, from us, that is your lot, and we'll be back Friday night, 7 p.m. BST, and yes, you know. True.